I have some really exciting news. I won the green card lottery and am now a permanent resident of the United States. But what does that even mean? Am I going to be a US citizen? And what are the chances of winning the lottery? Hallo, Servus, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Felicia. I'm originally from Munich, Germany, but I have been living in the US in Cincinnati, Ohio for about 3 years now. So as of August 30th, I am on a legal permanent resident status, which colloquially means that I got a green card. But it's not like I just won the lottery and they sent me the green card in the mail the next day. Obtaining a green card is actually a pretty complicated and long process, and for those of you who are interested in more details on this process and more details on the green card lottery, I actually documented all of my experiences going through these past few months, and I'm going to upload this in a separate video in a few days. So if you have any detailed questions or want some more in-depth information, make sure to check that one out as well. But in this video, I'm just going to share the most important facts with you guys. So what even is a green card? Green card is the colloquial term for a permanent residence card, which allows immigrants to permanently live and also work in the United States. Permanent residents have almost the same rights and responsibilities that US citizens have. They're allowed to live here permanently, they're protected under the law, they can obtain health insurance and a driver's license, for example, they can join the army, and they're allowed to work here, except for most government jobs. A green card is valid for 10 years, and after that you can renew it. And after 5 years of permanently living in the United States, a permanent resident can apply for US citizenship. Now, how do you get a green card? There's a few different ways. You can get a green card through marriage, through a family member, through work under certain circumstances, by making a major investment in the United States, or through the diversity visa lottery. That's what the green card lottery is officially called, and its purpose is to diversify the immigrant population in the US by giving green cards to applicants from countries with low immigration numbers. So people from, for example, India or the UK aren't eligible to take part in the lottery because there already are a lot of Indian and British immigrants in the US. In total, there are 55,000 green cards that are issued through the diversity visa lottery every year. And in 2018, for example, there were 23 million applicants. So only 0.2 of all lottery applicants get drawn in the end. Now, the requirements to qualify for an entry in the lottery are fairly low. Everyone who is from an eligible country has completed a 12-year high school education or has a certain amount of work experience, doesn't have a criminal record, and is of good health, qualifies to take part in the green card lottery. And all winners who are married or have children or both get green cards for their spouses and their children under 21 as well. Depending on where you're from, you have a different chance of winning. For the European region, the chance of winning is 0.6%, and for Germany in particular, it's 1%. You can take part in the lottery once a year. There is an entry period of a few weeks each fall. It's actually open right now until November 5th, and all you have to do is go to this website and submit your entry. You'll need to enter some personal information about yourself and upload a digital picture. Then in 6 months, you need to go back to the website and check whether you won or not. When I checked in May 2018, I remember I was so nervous. I entered my confirmation number and then I just read, "You have been randomly selected." And that was such a crazy feeling because I took part in it the very first time. Being selected is not a guarantee though that you're actually going to end up getting a green card. Because when you win, you only win for 1 fiscal year during which your case needs to get fully processed, and if it doesn't, your win will expire. In my case, I actually thought that it wasn't gonna work out until like half a year ago. But I was lucky, things turned around, and now I'm here on my permanent resident status. So if you were selected, in order to claim your win, you'll have to submit a pretty long form with all of your personal information, your education, your previous employers, the places you've lived at, etc. And that's pretty much the official application for an immigrant visa. And then you also need to submit supporting documents for all of that. If you're already in the US, you can either process everything through adjustment of status, which means that everything will will get processed while you're in the US, but it also takes a little bit longer usually. Or you can do consular processing, which means that everything will get processed through a consulate in your home country. And that's what I did. So I had to wait for several months for my case number that you get when you win to become current, because that's when the consulate or the embassy invites you to an interview. And I got my invitation fairly late. I had my interview in August, which is the second to last month within the fiscal year that I won for. So I traveled to Germany for about 5 weeks to attend my interview in Frankfurt, Germany, and to also just spend some time with my friends and family. And before the interview, I also had to attend a medical examination at a licensed physician. And I was lucky because there's only a few of them in entire Germany, but one of them was in Munich, so that means that I didn't have to travel for the medical examination. It was just in my city. So they check your blood, your urine, you have to take a vision test, and you have to get x-rays of your chest because they want to make sure that you don't have tuberculosis. And I had to pay all of that out of pocket because insurance doesn't cover that. And then you'll also have to pay 2 more fees. One is $330 for the green card lottery, and then another immigration fee of, I think it was $200 something. So getting a green card is expensive, and it's even more expensive if you have family because you have to pay all of this per person. But then when you're at the actual interview, you'll also have to bring a bunch of documents, originals and copies to prove your eligibility for the lottery. Education certificates, your birth certificate, police certificate, and some kind of proof of your financial resources, because they want to make sure that you can provide for yourself and that you're not likely to become a public charge after you enter the US. You need to prove that you have about $10,000 available per person. The interview itself is just at a counter and doesn't take longer than a few minutes usually. You have to take an oath, and then in my case, they really only asked me a few questions, and most of those questions were things that I had answered in my application form, so they were kind of rhetorical. And then they also asked me what my plans were for my life in the US. And then they'll let you know right away whether your application was approved or not. And if it was, they're gonna keep the passport there, insert the visa into the passport, and then send it back to you to your local address in the mail. This is what the visa stamp looks like, and with that, you'll have to go activate your green card within 6 months of the issue date of that visa stamp, which means that you'll have to travel to the US at least one time during those 6 months. And at immigration, they will do the activation process, which means that they will register you as a permanent resident and also initiate the printing of the physical green card, which will then be sent to your US address that you provided with them. And this is what the actual green card looks like when you get it in the mail. So yeah, it's green. The lottery is definitely one of the easiest ways to obtain a green card, in case you win. And it's quicker than other ways, but in my case, it still took a while. So I took part in the lottery in fall 2017, found out that I won in May 2018, attended my interview in August 2019, and I just received my physical green card in September 2019. So the whole process took about 2 years in my case. And of course, the green card lottery is not only the easiest way to get a green card, it's also the one that's most criticized. And I have to say that I do understand the criticism, but in my case, I can't help but just be thankful for its existence. So what now? What are my plans? What am I going to do? A lot of people keep asking me if I'm going to stay in the US for good now, and I'm going to tell you guys the same that I'm telling my friends and family. I don't know yet. 4 years ago, I would have never thought that I'd even be in the US right now. That was never part of my plans, but life can't be planned. This is definitely an amazing opportunity because the green card, compared to my previous student visa and also compared to other work visas, gives me so many options and so much more freedom. So I'm probably gonna stay here for at least another couple years. But I'm taking it step by step and just gonna see what kind of opportunities arise for me and what my future has on hold. And if I feel like going back to Germany in a few years, I can do that, and I'm very thankful that I have this kind of freedom right now. So I hope I could summarize the most important things for you guys in this video. If you have any questions or want to get some more details, please check out my other, more detailed video on this. Or if there are still questions, feel free to ask me in the comments below. I'll try to answer them. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to my channel if you like what I'm doing, which usually is a little bit more about German-American culture differences. Leave me a thumbs up, of course. Follow me on Instagram. And I hope I'll see you next time. Tschüss!